In a distant land there once lived a powerful king. Despite his wealth and grandeur, he often felt burdened by the responsibilities that came with his role. One day he summoned all the wise men of the kingdom and said, "I possess one of the most beautiful diamonds, and I want it to be set in a ring. And within the ring, I want a brief message that encapsulates all the wisdom of the world, something that can help me in moments of absolute despair. It must be a short message, just a few words, so that I can conceal it under the diamond, inside the ring itself." The king's wise men were all great scholars, men capable of writing profound treatises. However, giving the king a message of a few words that could assist him in a moment of absolute despair seemed like an impossible task even to them. They pondered for a long time, searching their texts, but failed to find anything. The king had an old servant whom he considered almost a father. The servant had cared for him since his mother died at a young age, and the king held deep respect for him. The old servant said, "I am not a wise man, an educated man, or a scholar, but I know that message. Those people cannot give it to you. Only a mystic could, a man who has realized his own being. In my long life here at the palace, I have encountered all sorts of people, and once I even met a mystic. He too was a guest of your father, and I was assigned to serve him. When he left as a token of gratitude for my services, he gave me this message that you seek." And the servant wrote it on a small piece of paper, folded it, and said to the king, "Do not read it. Simply keep it hidden in the ring. Open it only when everything else has proven to be a failure. Open it only when you feel there is no way out." And that moment came soon enough. Some advisors betrayed him and made deals with his enemies who wanted to kill him and overthrow his kingdom. He was fleeing on his horse to save his life, and the enemy's horses were chasing him. He was alone, and the enemies were numerous. Suddenly the path ahead of him ended, and he found himself facing a precipice. Falling into it would mean certain death. He couldn't turn back either. The enemies were close, and he could already hear the hoofbeats and neighing of their horses. He could neither advance nor find another way. Suddenly he remembered the ring. He opened it, took out that little piece of paper, and read a message whose value was truly priceless. It simply said, "This too shall pass." A deep silence descended upon the king as that phrase penetrated his being. This too shall pass. And it did. Everything passes. Nothing remains in this world. Then by fortune, the enemies chasing him lost their way in the forest, taking another path. Gradually the sound of their horses' hooves faded away and disappeared. The king felt profound gratitude for his servant and for that unknown mystic. Those words proved to be miraculous. He folded the piece of paper, placed it back inside the ring, rebuilt his army, and reclaimed his kingdom. On the day he returned to the capital victorious, with everyone cheering and celebrating him with music and dance, he felt on top of the world with happiness and profound pride for his conquest. Walking beside his carriage was the old servant who said, "This is also a suitable moment to read the message again." The king asked, "What do you mean? I am a winner now. The people are celebrating me. I am not in despair at all. I am not in a hopeless situation." And the servant said, "Listen, here is what that mystic told me. This message is not only meant for moments of despair. It is also useful when you are ecstatic with happiness. It is not only for when you are defeated. It is relevant even when you are victorious, not only when you find yourself in a dead end, but also when you are at the peak." The king opened the ring again, read the message, "This too shall pass." And suddenly he experienced the same peace, the same silence, amidst the crowd that celebrated and praised him, dancing around him. All pride along with the ego had vanished. Everything passes. The king asked the old servant to climb into the carriage and sit beside him. He asked, "Your message has been of immense help to me, but tell me, is there anything else?" And the servant said, "The third thing that the mystic told me is this. Remember, everything passes. Only you always remain. You exist eternally as the witness."